We are like this. We feel different. We feel inherently different because there is a purpose for it. And you may have experienced things in your 3D human life, like I have, like the childhood trauma, the medical issues, all these things, because I'm supposed to feel alienated. Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to Rooted in the Cosmos, your podcast for all things spiritual leadership, New Earth vision, and higher consciousness. My name is Isabel Gloria. I'm your host, and I'm welcoming you to this wonderful new episode. I do have some technical issues today, so I have to record this episode with my phone. I hope the quality is all right, but if it differs from all the other episodes, that is why I'm just warning you in case you're wondering why there is any background noise or why it sounds different. I don't know yet how it's going to sound like when I edit everything. So just a little heads up if anything sounds any different from the normal sound quality. The energies are intense right now. So I just want to start this episode by saying if you're experiencing anything challenging in your life right now, or if things just won't work out, it is very likely that you're affected by the current energies and by the current, just like cosmic alignment that's going on. And what I've recently shared with my clients is that we should be a little bit soft to ourselves, like not be harsh to yourself if something is not working out, if things are not going how you want them to go, because we are collectively impacted by this energy right now. And it can happen depending on your astrology and other influences that you are personally affected in your life. Maybe you don't feel it at all, but maybe you do. So if that is the case, if life feels like a struggle right now and things are coming up that are stressing you or worrying you, please know that this is like a collective thing that we're moving through right now. And it's okay to slow down. It's okay for things to not work out the way we want them to right now. It's not going to be like this forever. Just try to flow with the cosmos instead of resisting the flow of the cosmos, if that makes sense. So be gentle to yourself and just remind yourself that this is going on right now. That being said, I want to introduce today's topic. I want to talk a little bit about something that is coming up with a lot of people I'm in touch with, whether it's clients or just people I talk to, and that is feeling different or feeling like you're not fully fitting in. And I can imagine that you may feel the same way in some aspects of your life. So this episode is meant to give you like a new perspective on why you may feel that way and why it may be a good thing. Personally, for me, I've always felt different. And I don't mean that in a pick-me girl kind of way. I genuinely mean like an alienation from people around me, from children around me, like since I was a little kid. And I can understand that some of it is like a very human and 3D explanation. I've suffered from severe childhood trauma. There was a lot going on, even though I was loved and protected at the same time. There was some aspects in my life where I was really like traumatized. And that alone made me feel very disconnected and very different from children when I was little. So I remember watching children play like children do, and it felt like there already was like a adult brain that was observing these children, and I couldn't relate that much. And that is like a human explanation of that. Another human explanation is that I was born with a congenital heart defect. So I've always had like a medical history. I've always had hospital visits. I've always had like the impending fear of, not fear, but sudden death. Like it was a topic in my life. It is a severe heart defect. So it was not just something that we could take lightly as like my family and stuff. So I was aware of that being the case. I was a child that very early on started to think about things like death and what comes after death, like all these things that eventually also helped me kickstart my spiritual journey. So that is another human explanation I have for this. But it even goes deeper than that. Like there is this alienating feeling to the majority of humanity. Even though I love humans, even though I love to connect with humans, I have a really hard time understanding human behavior sometimes, especially when it comes to how quick and how fast people can build relationships, or how quick they can let other people into their lives, and how superficial relationships can be without like going any deeper for other people. And I'm not judging them. It's beautiful if it works for them, but I can just not relate to that. And I've noticed that I'm not alone with this. I used to feel very alone with this, and I used to feel like I'm the only one not getting it and not understanding how humans function. And I've always felt like I can't be a human. Someone dropped me off here from another planet. But then as I got older and as I got more into spirituality and as I got more aligned with my purpose and understood more of what I came here to do, I realized that I'm definitely not alone with this. And I really needed this realization. I really needed people who are feeling the same way. And maybe you are out there right now feeling this alienation within yourself, and you want to understand that you're not alone with this, and you are craving people who are like-minded and crave people who just have the same, I'll call them issues, of connecting with other humans and understanding human behavior and how they function. Because I literally always felt like an alien observing humanity, and I know I kind of belong to them, but I also don't, you know? So if that's you, you're definitely not alone, and this is definitely not something negative. It's not something that is easy. I'm not saying that, but it's not something you should beat yourself up for. In my work and also on my personal spiritual journey, I've realized that almost everyone who has the feeling of a higher calling also experiences that feeling of alienation. And I know some people out there will say now, well, this is just a coping mechanism. You're just telling yourself that you're special because you have like a hard time connecting with people and stuff. But if you're one of those people who have like this alienating feeling, you know that's not the case. We can very well have very strong and loving relationships with other people, even deeper than the majority of people can have. So that's definitely not the case. We can be super social. We can be social butterflies. We can be good with people. We can be good with leading others. We can be good with talking in front of others. It doesn't have anything to do with shyness or being awkward. It's not that. So if you've ever heard someone say that, don't listen to them. You know better how you feel. It's a much deeper feeling. It's a much deeper alienation, and it's not even something negative. It's just something that may be part of you and you've accepted that, but you have a hard time finding that in other people and finding someone who can relate. So again, I want to tell you, there's a lot of people out there, and I talk to them every day, who have the same feeling of alienation and feeling of lack of purpose, I would also call it. And I just want to bring a new perspective to this sensation, to feeling different. Through my spiritual work, I've seen a lot of people turn their differences into their greatest success once they fully accepted it and once they used it as like a tool and as a superpower instead of trying to fit in. Because what often happens is that we try to fit in, especially in the beginning, especially as we grow up. If you are a child who never felt like it truly fit in, you try to fit in so hard. You try to adapt. You try to do what other people do. You don't enjoy it, but you're telling yourself, I need to go to the club now. Everyone's doing that. They love it, so I have to love it too. Like little things like that. You're telling yourself that you enjoy the things that you actually hate. And that creates a lot of pain and just not a good feeling and not a good energy for yourself. So instead of trying to fit in, at one point you have to realize you have to accept yourself for what you are and who you are, and also be comfortable with being different and become confident in your differences. And that is when things shift. In my personal life, I've noticed that, and I've seen it for other people as well. The moment I accept that I'm different in some aspects and I don't like things that most people enjoy and vice versa, I gained a lot of people who were magnetized by me. They felt drawn to me and they felt magnetized to me and they felt inspired by me and they suddenly wanted to be around me. And I've never experienced that before when I tried so hard to fit in. Just when I broke out of the box and when I just did whatever I wanted to do and when I like completely disconnected from the need and the feeling of being like anybody else, that's when things started to fall into place for me. And that's also when things started to be less painful and less alienating because I just accepted myself for who I am. So if you are feeling similarly about your path and you haven't fully accepted yourself yet, maybe this is like your permission slip to fully allow yourself to be who you are and to also confidently state the things that you desire, that you like, that you dislike, that you agree with, that you disagree with. Like just be your freaking self in front of everyone unapologetically. Don't bend yourself. Don't squeeze yourself in any boxes. Like I'm at this point, I could talk to the most rational person in the world who thinks I'm completely nuts, and I will still voice my beliefs and stand in my truth. I don't have the desire to explain myself to that person. I don't have the desire to make them believe what I believe or make them know what I know, because I understand that they cannot grasp it, or that they may not even want to grasp it. But I can still voice and express my truth in front of them, even though they think I'm nuts. I don't care. The first thing that is very positive about feeling different from other people is that you concern yourself a lot with yourself. You do so much self-discovery and so much self-work and all these things that people are missing out on if they're just living an unconscious life. And I'm trying not to be judgmental here. I'm trying not to sound like I'm judging people. I genuinely don't. I feel like everyone should do what they are meant to do and what they want to do. But I have to come from the perspective of us who feel a little bit different. So it may sound like I'm judging people. I'm not. I'm just like not connecting with their type of lifestyle, just to explain that to you. So the first thing that really comes to my mind is the self-discovery part, the self-evolution part, the self-reflection. Self-reflection is a huge thing I notice in people who are also feeling different. They are very self-reflective. They understand their own inner processes. They understand their inner guidance system. They understand their psychology. They understand the psychology of other people. They understand how conflicts happen, when people are triggered and why they react a certain way. And some people are so unconscious, they walk through life reacting to everything and being triggered by the most random things because they've never healed anything within, or they've never self-reflected, and they just throw around with their emotions, throwing them at other people, and they never self-reflect. They are so unaware of themselves. And people like you and me who feel a little bit different, who've done a lot of self-work, we can analyze them and tell them exactly what's wrong with them or where they need to look at, but they would not understand. And that is something that you can use. It's not bad if you are not super self-reflected. I'm telling you, I truly believe in everyone has their own path. Everyone is exactly how they are supposed to be in this incarnation, in this expression. But coming from my perspective and our perspective of you and me listening to this, I feel like it is an advantage for us to be self-reflected and to also be able to read other people. If you feel like you have that higher calling and you want to help humanity and you want to do something that has a lot of purpose and has meaning for you. So that is an advantage. The self-discovery that you experience and that happens when you feel so alienated and you want to understand yourself and you want to understand the collective and humanity. That is such a big journey that you're automatically on that will help you so much to help other people who are not able to self-reflect or who are not able to easily find their triggers, or even those who are able to do that easily but still need the guidance and the support from someone outside. So if you have the desire to be a coach, a healer, a spiritual guide, a spiritual advisor, someone who just supports people on their emotional journey, on their spiritual journey, on their whatever journey, that is a perfect set of skills that you have right there. It's almost like life made you go through this university of self-discovery so you can use that later in life for your purpose, for your mission. The next thing is that when you do things differently and you start to step into being different in a more confident way, people are so magnetized to you. People want to know what you do because most people, deep, deep within, they have the desire for freedom, for self-expression, for living outside of a societal structure that is very restraining, because that is the nature of our soul. The nature of our soul is free, it's expressive, it's love, it's all these things that are very hard to maintain in the system and in the structure that we are being squeezed in. So when you start to live in what we would call alternative life and you do things differently, you don't go the general steps that a human has to go after the book, and you don't reach all the human stepstones and all the milestones and all these things that don't really matter to you, people are inspired by you. Whether they are aware of that or not, whether they express it positively or negatively, you will catch their attention. And you can use that for good if you are, for example, wanting to be present on social media and you want to do something with your creative expression and you want to do something with that skill that you just naturally inherently have. That is amazing. If you would be someone who is just like everyone else, it doesn't mean that you cannot be successful, but the success looks different for those people. There's two types of people in this world. There is the people who are expressing themselves, who are the artists, the entertainers, the people giving energy to others and presenting a vision to others. And then there's the people watching them and being the observer, the audience. So if you feel so different, it most likely is the case that you are one of the artists, the entertainers, the energy givers, the visionaries. There is less of us out there, but we are meant to step into this potential. We are like this. We feel different. We feel inherently different because there is a purpose for it. And you may have experienced things in your 3D human life, like I have, like the childhood trauma, the medical issues, all these things, because I'm supposed to feel alienated so I can step into my mission, I can step into my full potential, and I can create the timeline and the lifestyle for myself that I'm meant to live because I came here as a soul to impact other souls. And this adapts to you. Your differences, your feeling of alienation, your experiences that make you feel disconnected from other people's experiences, that is not a coincidence. Every freaking thing happens for a reason. And the disconnection you feel is nothing negative. It is meant to awaken something within you that will turn your life upside down in a very positive way. You just have to be brave enough to fully claim that for yourself, fully step into the role of the weirdo, and fully claim that lifestyle that you want to live and start expressing yourself now. It can be the smallest step. It doesn't have to be a huge 5-year plan that you have now. Just start with whatever feels right. Start expressing yourself. Start the YouTube channel. Start the podcast. Start your business. Start your social media channels. Start sharing your spiritual beliefs with other people who you feel would benefit from that. The main takeaway of this episode is I want to activate that part within yourself. I want you to go out of this episode, go about your day after listening to this, feeling energized, feeling activated, feeling like I can do something different with that feeling that I wanted to get rid of for so long. What is my next step? How can I turn this into my power? How can I turn this into the thing that positively shifts my life around and completely changes everything this year? That is the energy I want to give you today. And like I said in the beginning of this episode, the energies are really intense right now. So if you manage to get into this space of activation and get into this space of possibility, of hope, of direction, that would be an amazing thing to do right now, because the energies are supporting you and they're accelerating whatever you are giving off. So I really hope I activated something within you. This episode was a little bit shorter than usual because of my technical issues. I wanted to keep it a little bit shorter just to make sure everything works out right. Even though the sound quality may not be the best today, I really hope this activation landed with you and that you feel impacted in some capacity right now. If you ever want to reach out to me, my DMs are open. We can totally connect about this or about other things. And I would love to connect with you. You can also send me an email or send your questions for the podcast. I do Q&As from time to time. You can send your questions to podcast@isabelgloria.com. And you can also DM me on Instagram and TikTok. It's @isabelgloria. It's all linked in the show notes. I hope you have the best day. The sun is shining here in Germany. So I'm going to go outside now, sit in the sun in my backyard, drink my tea, and enjoy the day. And I hope you do the same. Talk to you next week.